So the title, Monster and Me, Conversations, Adventures, and Love, that kind of wraps up the individual little stories that make up the book. And most of them are only 2 pages. So you can really open the book anywhere and read 3 minutes and get some satisfaction or fun or insight or whatever out of that. The short chapters that make up this book have been written over the last 9 years. And the main thrust of it is conversations between me and Monster. Where did that come from? Where did Monster come from? Who is he? And I realized, I look back, and I think I was up in the mountains outside of San Diego one day, just looking at the mountains and the birds, and I heard a conversation in the background in my mind. It was a dialogue between me and some other entity, if you will, or another side of me. So I started paying attention. This is interesting. I'm going to write down this conversation that they're having. The conversations were never intentional. Sit down with a pen and then see what David has to say and what Monster has to say, and just watch the conversation unfold. In the book, they're not in the order in which these conversations happened, but they're in chapters on kind of a theme. The travel chapter is the most unusual chapter in the book in that there's mixed in with dialogues. The conversations between David and Monster are stories that I've written about the places that they are. There's one of a trail in Kyoto behind my favorite temple and temple gardens. I stumbled on this trail that goes way up into the mountains. Along the way, there are little tiny shrines. They're Japanese Shinto shrines. And there was a little candle lit in each one. Like, you know, what are the chances? Nobody around, nobody on the trail. Yet there's a candle that would last like 5 or 10 minutes in each shrine. So I'd stop and take pictures and wonder. And I never found the people that were leaving them, but I followed this trail of lit candles in shrines way up into the mountains. So Monster is a super intelligent, insightful, sweet character. He's kind of a truing agent. He keeps you on the path of truth or self-realization at some level. If Monster sees something, he'll say it. He doesn't worry about David's feelings at all. He loves David. These 2 guys, David and Monster, inhabit the same body. So we're in everything together. We both see everything, but we see it differently. Our own mechanism that wants to protect us from life is rarely for us. It's actually killing us in a way. So Monster's there to give us life. And we've all got him there. Always saying something like, you know that's not true. You know that fear's made up. You know, let's move on and have life. He's the energy of life. The critical groundwork parts of the book is we're in this together. David and Monster could be any 2 of us or any 2 groups anywhere. And as long as the mistake is made that we're separate and we want different things, which we don't, David and Monster are exploring the world of non-separateness, bit by bit, and seeing that they aren't separate. That's when the love can happen. As long as we're separate, it's you or me. Can you see Monster? When the Monster side is being very incisive and saying what nobody would expect anybody to say, like, this is the truth, and he'll spit it out. Did I just say that? No, Monster just said that. So you can hear him throughout the day. He has stuff to say, and he's always looking over my shoulder. When I'm writing or recording the conversations, he'll just like tap me on the shoulder and say, I didn't say that, and I didn't mean that. He's a fun-loving guy. So anything he says is never an attack. It's meant to be laughed at together. Eventually, David starts catching himself. They get to laugh more and more and more as David grows up. Life's more fun, and every conversation's funnier. One of the harder things was to find the artwork that goes with the book. So we tried actually put together several books with different kinds of artwork, and in the end I found a children's book that I'd written and never published when I was 24 years old. So the artwork from that book fit this book perfectly. It was like the same conversations in a younger form. So once that happened and all the art came together, then this book could be completed. If you look in the back of the book, there's a picture of me now and a picture of me at 24 side by side. So the 24-year-old did the art, and then I, at this age, did the writing. When I could see, oh, these are the right illustrations for the book, then I thought, they'd make great t-shirts. I laid out all the illustrations for that earlier book. The whole staff at David Allen chose what we all thought would make the best t-shirts to accompany the books. They've been made in Bali. The tees are handmade by people I've been working with for the last 15, 20 years. They're fun. One's from the front cover, one's from the back cover. Rick Harper, a good friend of mine who had been reading all these parts to the book, I've been sharing them with him, and he one day said, "This has to be a book and I'll put it together." He knew, it's just, I would never do it. So over the next year, he and I worked on this book until, mostly he worked on it, until it actually took enough form that it's, this can be a book and it will work. I think in the end, what Monster's always working and always pointing at is freedom. Freedom from everything that keeps us stuck. Our beliefs, our fears, our wishes, our wants, our endless wants, they all come and go. They're not real they're really not real. Fears aren't real, the wants aren't real, the beliefs aren't real. And when you can see them, you have freedom. And freedom is where you can find joy and love. If you're all tied up, there's no love. If you're not free, there's no joy. Or it only pops up here and there instead of being a lifelong place to live.